Good afternoon. We are here with Dr. Hope Gersovitz. And Hope owns two different practices here in New Orleans. One is New Orleans Counseling and a Hypnosis Center, and the other one is Theratique. They're both located on Canal Street, and they are in Mid-City, New Orleans. Hope has extensive experience in a number of different areas, but she right now today she was going to be talking about managing stress for business owners specifically in this time of uncertainty and in a very unprecedented event. So I know business owners are very confused, stressed out, and just kind of looking for the next step. But it's not only that, they're not only stressed out about their businesses, they have employees, they have finances, they have a life of their own at home. So there's just a lot going on. And with that, I will turn it over to Dr. Hope, and I will
Right. Thank you. And what you said just now, like we're used to as small business owners or whatever type of business you do have, we're used to the stress of business, like cash flow or utilities or do we have enough toilet paper? But like this stress of like managing your team and like keeping a competent like view of your like to others, that's something that like over the last week and a half as I've experienced. I have, like Christina said, that I have two businesses. I've been a therapist in the New Orleans area for the last 20 years, and most, with the exception of my office manager, who's my mom, my businesses are run by contractors. So we really are very much like an individual, where we had a staff meeting like once every 2 or 3 months. And last Monday, when we all started having to come together, just working as like this added stress of like managing, the contractors that worked for me, because usually they kind of just manage themselves, and like I had one-on-one interaction with them, but then managing as like a community was a completely new animal for me, and just did it and really just tried to in a sense like fake it till I make it, like of showing that like this is fine, we know what to do. And we were bringing both businesses that we have a storefront, we see clients in our office, we went completely online with 20 people with varying ranges of technology skill in a week's time in order to serve our clients. And for the most part, it's going much better than expected. But the thing that I noticed this week is that how influential as the owner of the business, and that like basically projecting that on to my employees, that like this is good, we have this, that's a lot of pressure to put on oneself that I don't normally have on a day-to-day basis. Like I have, and to be thrown such a curveball, in a sense, even though we knew that this was coming to some degree, but I don't think any of us had any insight that it was going to be like this. That like the question is like how are you taking care of yourself and keeping your stress level down so that you can continue to project that image of artificial competency, on a daily basis to your employees. Because if I don't get out of bed and stop answering text messages because I'm freaking out, what's that going to do to my business? Like, I don't, I would imagine it wouldn't be good. And I know that there are some business owners struggling, like, especially with businesses that like I do have the luxury of that, in a sense, like that, and that I am still open, that we still are able to function. We are functioning in a much lower capacity, but we are still functioning. But that's a completely different animal if I had a business that could not be like running right now. But I'd still need to keep my stress level and how my image was to my employees to a certain degree, because that's going to determine like how well my business will do the unknown of this whole experience. And so what does that mean? Like, how does one, like, you know, because do you think about your self-care? I don't really think about my self-care, and that's what I do for a living. I do, but I think about other people's self-care. And even the term self-care, like things like anything from, do you shower every day? Are you putting on clean clothes? Are you exercising, eating well, sleeping well? You know, are you doing anything like outside of the box, like meditation or um, um, anything that, like, that hobbies and stuff like that, that where your stress level, like, are you still taking care of yourself as a business owner? And you know, I think we're all just trying to survive at this point, but you know, it's just, you're in a at you know, we've all made the choice to be a small business owner, and or whatever type of business that you have, and there's some huge perks with it. Like, it's wonderful to not have a boss, and it's wonderful to have autonomy and freedom and to make decisions. But I don't think that any of us, when we were setting out our business, was like, well, what's going to be your plan to handle your business during a pandemic? Like, never ever crossed my mind. And so you have to ask yourself, like, well, how in the last week and a half, or you know, now going on maybe 2 weeks for some, how have I been managing my stress level? Like, have I been managing it well? Or have I been managing it? We have negative and positive coping skills. Some, you know, I know people's during this time period, everything in moderation. We live in New Orleans, but like, you know, people's drinking is up, and like, they don't have to go to work, or you don't have to go to work, and so your drinking might be up, and it's just part of our culture. We definitely fall back on. Like, what can be conceded as negative coping could be anywhere from, you know, eating like really unhealthy things, or you know, like, I don't have to go into all the negative things that we have here in New Orleans, but you know what I'm talking about. And like, then we have over here the positive, like, okay, during the pandemic, I'm going to start a yoga practice, and I'm going to, you know, develop my meditation regime. Great, I hope you do. But it's just, it's right now we're in also, as business owners, like, the fight between good and evil, because like, it's very easy to fall back on, like, you know, negative coping mechanisms right now. But how do you check in with yourself? Like, these are things to ask yourself, like, what supports do you have in your life? Like, do you have another business owner that can relate to you? Because it's a completely different animal if you're self-employed. People, like, we don't, okay, I don't get sick time, I don't get vacation time, my benefits aren't affected by any of this. And that, yet I would never work for somebody else again. And I really would be homeless if, like, this doesn't work out. So, but, you know, like, just the things to, you know, like, kind of making a plan of, you know, how am I eating? How am I sleeping? Your basic needs. Who am I talking to? Reaching out to supportive people, rather than, like, if you have that doom and gloom person, the one that's like giving you, someone else just died, like, that's a person right now you want to, like, put on pause right now. I'm encouraging you, because you just have to have yourself together at this time. And it's very hard when I open Facebook or any type of social media, it's not rainbows and, like, everything is constant negative. And we know what's going on to some degree in the world right now, but how are we balancing out with, like, staying informed but not being consumed? Because I don't at least have the luxury of, like, sitting on social media all day, like, reading everything and that comes out. And so that's just kind of like the things that I've been talking to my clients this week, the importance of self-care and developing some sort of structure for yourself, like getting up at a certain time, getting dressed, like, whether you get fully dressed, that's up to you, but at least from here up, you need to be dressed. And especially if you are talking to others, you know, and I'm sure most people have common sense, but people surprise me all the time. And that you know, like your image, how you are coming across, like in this like tele world, I don't even know the exact term for it, that also comes across, that you know that you're getting up, you're getting dressed, you're having whatever you do in the morning, kind of keeping that normal routine, and you know, taking time to check in with yourself, making sure that you are not, you know, like if you feel like you're panicking or anxiety, you should take a step away from the computer, or you know, take some time to go for a walk, a social distancing walk or whatever. But like, you know, these images come across to others, and it needs to be genuine with yourself, because you do need to be taking care of yourself at this time. And even if that means like, you know what, tomorrow I've been doing this for 2 weeks, I need a break, like giving yourself some sort of, your business will not crumble in one day. And if you need that time to kind of recoup, spend time even virtually with your, like, you know, whether that's going to a Zoom party, contacting your, like, a friend or social outlet, something that like can kind of get you away from all that's going on in the world right now. We need to somehow have a balance of escape, but still, the other thing is that, like, because if we're stable, we're going to project that image to our employees, and then that's going to give them a sense of security, especially if you are their livelihood. When I went through Katrina, I was much younger, and like we all were, and I did not I had a small tiny little practice, and I didn't have any employees, and it basically closed when Katrina happened. And that's what I mean, I'm sure a lot of y'all are relating to Katrina, because it's the only thing that's kind of close to this in my mind. But the responsibility as a business owner for, you know, other people's livelihoods, it's great. Like, I already felt that prior to a pandemic, but and that's why I'm a huge person of, like, employee morale is huge with me. I know that, like, being kind and understanding to some degree is so essential, in trying to, like, to know to some degree of what's going on with each of your employees, so that you can, you know, like, kind of try to meet with them, because this is also a time for you to kind of take notice of, like, who's stepping up, because I've had a lot of different people that work with me really step up during this time period. And I may not be able to do I may not be able to do it much now, but, like, believe me, I know I appreciate that. I tell them I appreciate that. I hope that you are like showing gratitude, and also reminding yourself, and like, there's a thing like grounding yourself, like, and that can be with your own self-talk, which is how we talk to ourselves all day long. But, like, gratitude that if you have a business right now that is still functioning, and you have employees that are still, you know, doing their job or able to do their job, like, having gratitude, showing that gratitude, it will help. Because when you see your employees step up and help you, your stress level goes down. Like, I had this week all kinds of people that normally would not do things for me, but not that they wouldn't, but, like, I wouldn't have asked them, but, like, stepping up and doing, like, more technical things. And it was so showing gratitude, and making sure that they knew how appreciated they were to me for especially doing things that are just not my skill set. And that's also, hopefully, if you are not, one way to manage your stress level right now is delegating, like, who's good at what, because we're so used to just me, what's going to be good. Like, and now, like, this is like our sense of community, and okay, that person's really good at technology, or that person's really good at social media, or that person, like, likes to go to the bank. I don't know, you know, like, just kind of right. You know, just you're thinking a little bit outside the box, things that you normally wouldn't have asked them, but will help also manage your stress level. Ask yourself, like, how much am I delegating? Like, you know, and because people, your employees will, not all of them, but, like, will step up, and some will go above and beyond, and then the ones you thought weren't, like, they still, you know, they still did the bare minimum, but whatever. And but these are ways to think about your self-care and managing yourself, like thinking about how am I eating, how am I sleeping, am I doing anything to have any type of physical activity? Even I know that all the gyms and all the things are closed, but like there's so much online resources right now. Almost every different exercise studio in the city is doing free online trainings. And also, like I had said before, like all else fails, Amazon Prime has everything, and then YouTube has everything in regards to like physical activity. And even, you know, even if it's not your thing right now, think about like this is a time to practice. Like do I want would I like to learn how to meditate? You know, how would I learn how to meditate? There's, you know, again, there's a lot of free stuff online, and there's also, going back to Amazon has amazing stuff as well. And I don't work for Amazon. I'm not a therapist from like a back alley Amazon therapist, but I like, again, I don't know what you do, but this is my day-to-day life, talking to people about their stress and how they're managing it, how they could manage it better. And it's a different animal where like that's what I do, but now trying to manage my own stress. And I think when I talked with Christina on Monday, I really like this idea that like this artificial competency, like I am, you know, because on Sunday night, I think when like a week had passed and where I really realized the severity of what is going on, what could be going on, and I haven't even crossed that bridge should anyone get sick or I get sick. I don't, we'll have to figure it out then. I'm just hoping for the best. But that projecting of like, this is going to be fine, you've got this to you yourself, like you're kind of like, but in reality, no, I mean, I'm taking it day by day like everybody else. I just know that like, boozing it up or eating a bunch of stuff that I shouldn't be, or not sleeping, or, you know, fighting with my husband, or just being a jerk overall is not the way to handle this. And it's not going to help make this situation any better. It's not going to stop it. And so I have been every day, to the best of my ability, trying to take care of myself, trying to, you know, be stable for not only myself, but the employees and also the clientele that I work with. And I hope that you are too. I hope that it's something that you know, we are under a great deal of stress right now. More, it's just, you know, stress that we're used to when you run your own business and you have nothing to, you know, if I don't go to work, it's fine, but I don't get paid. But we're, you know, we're used to weird stresses that most people don't experience when they don't own a business, but we're not used to this complete unknown, and we don't have the coping skills as like part of our toolbox. Nobody has the skills to really deal with a pandemic quite yet. So you have to kind of do with what you know. You have the things like common sense of things, but like it's just so easy to fall back on like, yeah, what she's saying, but I'm gonna go drink a bottle of wine because that makes me feel better. And, you know, in moderation, but like, I just want you to think about what's your self-care plan, and how, and kind of ask yourself, well, how are you doing with your own self-care? Like, because that's how it's like managing, because if you were taking care of yourself, obviously your stress level is going to be better. Will you still have stress during this period? Absolutely. Just taking it a day at a time and just seeing what's out there, but just also knowing the resources that you have, that the internet is filled with resources beyond belief of what could be out there. And I have posted up some, I sent Christina some of the things that I like, and, you know, and I'm certainly more, this may not be your jam, but I'm certainly more the crystals, the aromatherapy, the Reiki, and that may not be, you might be into like, you know, people I hear cross stitch, knitting, video games, like different, like I'd encourage you, if you're watching a show, to make it light, like no, my clients have been watching movies on pandemics. No, like this is not the time to like go and watch every movie that ever, just kind of keeping it light, and knowing what's out there. I encourage you to eat well, sleep well, think about meditation, think about doing some sort of physical activity, even if it's just walking around your neighborhood. And using your support. And if you don't have any support, there's so many online supports, you can figure it out, like just like you're here today, or however this is going to be, whatever it came to be that you were watching this video, good for you. But like there's tons of resources, but just don't forget about your own self-care, because it could be the thing that saves your business. I think that's all I got.
Yeah. We had a question from Rob.
I will try to answer it.
Cardinal Capital has a bourbon mascot. Does that mean we are not coping well? Just kidding.
That's fine. Totally. Just make sure you go take a walk with it. Like
there you go. It's a balance.
Oh, it has its own leash.
Yeah.
And I was gonna ask you one question, Hope. I know this is a big thing with business owners too, is that they don't get asked, how are you doing?
Right.
Kind of, you're the boss, and especially you're with your family right now. So if you're kind of more the authority or caretaker or whatever in your family, you might not, you have that double life of taking care of your family and your employees, and people might not be asking you how you're doing. So how should people kind of cope with that? Are there
well, yes, I mean, and that is part of the being a business owner, like that. It's a lot of a one-way street a lot of the time. Like I'm kind of used to it, because I see clients all day long that just talk about themselves, and I'm always like, but what about me? And but it doesn't work like that as a therapist. But that's why I'm talking, like, if you have, like, whether it be your spouse or a friend or some sort of, like, making sure, like, that your support system knows your employees. Probably you might have that one or two employee that, like, that they're your buddy, their right-hand person. But if you don't, like, making sure, like, you have some sort of support, like, within your family, that, like, letting them know that, like, hey, can you check in with me? This is a lot, and hopefully you're utilizing the supports that you have on a personal level. And if you don't have any of those resources, then educating yourself, and, like, going back to no, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to work on getting some more friends. Like, I need to, and just know that no matter what I have seen, no matter what type of business you have, that is something that, like, most business owners experience, that whole one-sided relationship. Even though it's your business, you just would like every now and again be like, how are you? Can I, how are you? Like, and I'd encourage you, if you really do need that, get a therapist, because that's what I do. A lot of times I am your therapist is there for that reason. And, a good portion of my clients, like, that is what we talk about, because they don't, they may not want to burden their friends or their family, and they need an outlet, and making sure you have that outlet to vent if needed. And, if you don't want to go to a therapist, there, you're like a spiritual advisor, pastor, rabbi, or if there's no one, then, like, a journal, like, getting it out in some kind of way. But just keep in mind that, like, that's one of the reasons people go to therapy.
Yeah, but it is more of an act. You have to take an active approach to this.
Yes.
It's not gonna magically come to you.
No. I would love that. I would love if, like, not like. But it's part of the reason you are a business. If you, like, you're a good leader. If you're a business owner, you're a natural leader. And it's also your tendency is not really to need that from others, but like this is a unique time that the things that you may not have all needed, you might need these things right now in order to cope, because we are in a world that we've never lived in before. Thank you for participating, and I really enjoyed talking about this. I was nervous about this all week, and I was like, what am I going to talk about? But now I see that I can't really shut up about stress and self-care. So I hope that you will do at least think about this stuff and just take care of yourself, even in the most basic level of eating and sleeping well, like and if you aren't, I hope that you will consider getting in with a therapist of some sort.
Yeah, for sure. I think this was really good. I mean, you just, like you said, you nailed the reason to have a therapist.
Right.
I'm sure like it's more business owners should definitely have therapists is probably the moral of the story.
Right. Like get a therapist. That's it. Like
that's step one. Like let's just outsource this.
She'll try to
just
get you
treat
to
it like a business. Treat
get some
yourself
crystals. Like no, it'll be good. I hope everybody takes care during this. If you need anything, please reach out to me. Christina can get in touch with me, and if you need any additional resources for you or your staff, just like contact me. I don't know how this works, as if they have my contact information or not, but I hope that you will, and I hope that your business survives all of this, and you do too.
Oh, well, I will say, Rob sent a message that said, "Thanks, Hope. You are clearly passionate about your profession." And we'll end on that note. And
thank you, Rob.
And thanks everybody for being here. This was a great presentation. I hope everyone is going to take these practices into consideration. Like you said, just try to eat right, try to sleep a little bit, and we'll get through this together. But I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you to Hope.
Thank you.
And our other speakers this week all have been so great. So let me know if you have any questions or anything, and y'all take care in the meantime.
Okay. Bye.